This message is brought to you by Apple Card. Apple Card puts the power of titanium in the palm of your hand. What does that mean? Well, I've got a piece of paper here that will let me tell you.
Oh, good.
It means the power to earn unlimited daily cash back on your purchases every day. It means a materially different credit card accepted anywhere in the world MasterCard is accepted.
It's nice.
Yeah, that's a lot of places. Ditch the plastic. Upgrade to titanium. Apply in the Wallet app on iPhone today. Subject to credit approval. Apple Card is issued by Goldman Sachs Bank USA, Salt Lake City branch. Terms and more at applecard.com. Now more than ever, America needs a laugh. Enter this. Wait, that's us. We provide the laughs. Why am I promoting someone else?
Are you not laughing?
If you're not laughing listening to Conan and Sona, then enter the Super Troopers to the rescue.
Oh, yeah.
Vermont's finest and most shockingly offensive highway patrol officers return to the big screen in Super Troopers 3.
Yeah.
In this latest installment of the cult comedy classic, Rod Farber's engagement to Thorny's sister spirals out of control. A debaucherous bachelor party, a wedding that Thorny's desperate to stop, and a dangerous drug smuggling ring all threaten the troops' friendships and future. So if you need laughs, don't listen to us. Fill your liter of cola, grab your buds, and roll up to the multiplex for Super Trooper 3, only in theaters August 7th. Get tickets, meow.
Conan O'Brien needs a fan. Want to talk to Conan? Visit teamcoco.com/callconan. Okay, let's get started.
Hey, Reginald, welcome to Conan O'Brien Needs a Fan.
Hey, how's it going?
Hey, Reginald, how are you?
I'm delightful, man. I'm doing great, honestly. Yeah.
I have been reading your bio, your story, your Marvel origin story, Reginald, and it's fascinating. It's amazing.
Thank you. It doesn't rival yours. I mean, yours is amazing. Mine is just I'm just trying to make it out here.
No, yours is better.
Yeah,
honestly.
I'm sorry, Reginald. Reginald, I love to toot my own horn, but no, you have me beat by a country mile. You just have an amazing story. You have a law degree from Yale Law School, and which is insanely impressive. And you have an MFA in poetry. And those are incredibly impressive accomplishments. And then you add to it that when you were 16, you participated in a carjacking and went to prison for 8.5 years.
Yeah, that one's not as impressive. I think that was the bane of my existence. But I think you live and learn. And for me, picking up a gun was the most crazy, volatile, violent thing I've ever done in my life.
Yep.
And nobody tells you that you could do something at 16 that'll change your life forever. As many teachers that used to sell me, I would end up in jail or I could end up in dead because I lived in a bad neighborhood, so to speak.
Right.
I didn't even really understand that I could change my life forever. And I did. I changed my life forever. So that's the kind of devastating thing about it, is recognizing that I changed my life forever.
Well, there's so much to, people like to say, unpack here. But there's so much to talk about. You, as far as I know, you spent a lot of time in solitary when you were in prison. And while you're in solitary, you discovered books. Is that correct?
Yeah, I did. I did 2 years off and on in solitary. But the thing that's really remarkable is I'm 18 years old, 17 years old. I'm in a hole and they took all of your books from me. And the thing is, 24 hours in a cell with just four walls, not as beautifully decorated as the walls around me.
Yeah. I'm going to say,
you find yourself,
that's some impressive artwork around you.
And I was unraveling. And I heard a guy call out for a book. And I realized that these dudes had created an underground library for themselves.
What?
And all you had to do was call out for a book and they would sing you one. And so I said, hey, yo, send me a book. And they sent me this anthology called The Black Poets. And that introduced me to Robert Hayden, Lucille Clifton, Sonia Sanchez, Langston Hughes, Sterling Brown, Etheridge Knight. And I'm reading these words and I realized that these poets were able to capture an entire life in 14 lines.
Yeah.
And I remember buying two books. This is the first books I bought with my money. There was a Sonia Sanchez book called Under a Soprano Sky. and it was Sun Tzu's The Art of War.
Yeah.
Now I was trying to survive prison. I was 5'5" and 120 pounds.
Oh my God.
Of those two books, I read Sonia Sanchez's book 100 times, and I never finished reading The Art of War.
Yeah.
Because I learned the real way to survive prison ended up being love. It ended up being the exact antithesis of what had got most of us in prison. Because I think the antithesis of love is violence. And so it was Sonia Sanchez's Under Soprano Sky that became a part of the pathway of me learning to love myself, but also in learning to love myself, me learning to understand that we had did horrendous things to land ourselves in prison, but that we could be more than those things. And I've spent my entire life since then trying to prove that to be true.
I'm curious, had you been at all interested or intrigued by books or even the idea of getting around to books before you went to prison?
The last book that I read, so my local library said, Mr. Betts, we understand you're still in prison, but we need you to return this book that you checked out. And it was the Evelyn Woods, but you wouldn't believe what book it was. It was the Evelyn Woods Guide to Speed Reading. See, I've always been obsessed with infomercials, right?
Yeah.
And they would have those infomercials on how to speed read.
Yeah.
And I was just like, well, my mom wouldn't let me, but she didn't believe that this guy could read, 1,000 words a minute. When he was flipping the pages, my mom said, he's just flipping the pages.
Yeah.
I said, no, he's reading. Listen to this. And so I went to the library and I found that Evelyn Woods book and I checked it out. And I still remember the tips that was in it. So I've always been fascinated with reading. I've always wanted to be a reader. My mom refused to let anybody tell me that hardback books came out first.
Yep.
So that she could keep giving me the old paperback books of like books I hadn't read yet, as if they were new. She would be like, Walter Mosley's new book just came out. Book came out 3 years ago, but the paperback just came out. And so what prison did was like, honestly, the judge said to me, I'm under no illusion that sending you to prison will help, but you can get something out of it if you try to.
Right.
And I never forgot what he told me. And I just had to lean into what I cared about. And I asked myself, what will you be when you leave prison? I mean, you're 16 now. What are you going to train yourself to be while in here?
Yep.
And I told myself I would be a writer because the only thing that I could name myself as loving in that way outside of my mom was books. And I needed to love something that I believe might save me. And so I decided to lean into the love of books.
It's kind of stunning to me that you wouldn't encourage people to read who are incarcerated. And, supposedly the concept behind the penal system is for people to better themselves and reform and grow. And so I'm amazed that books are denied to people in solitary. And that's a new concept to me because I would think you want people to read, you want people to build their minds. And the fact that you had to kind of do it secretly is kind of surprising to me.
Yeah, but to the credit of the Department of Corrections around this country, I think that they've improved and changed a lot.
Yep.
My biggest supporters are the Department of Corrections. Our first Freedom Library was in Angola. Our 1A and 1B, Angola and MCI Norfolk, where Malcolm X did time. And you got to understand that there's work that we've done, opening 600 libraries across the country, prisons in 14, 15 states, about 50 different prisons. That doesn't happen without the Department of Corrections and the senior leadership in the Department of Corrections and the line CEOs, all COs, all saying, we believe in books, we believe in literature, and we bring 100-pound bookcases and put them in cell blocks that have never had anything but plastic and metal and steel. We bring 500 brand new books into the lives of people who many of whom have never seen a brand new book, have never smelled a brand new book. I mean, it's about work that I do, but and with all due respect, it's like the most humbling, awe-inspiring thing I've been a part of, because to be a part of it is to literally watch how an invention that dates back hundreds of years, the Gutenberg printing press, actually is still the conduit for people to have access to the world that we first imagined a printing press would get them access to.
Yeah.
It is, it's cool.
Well, I mean, it's beyond cool. I want to make sure I stress this. You get out of prison, you go to Yale Law School, and you have founded something called Freedom Reads. It's an organization that gives incarcerated people access to books. And you guys have, as you said, opened somewhere around 500 libraries across about 45 prisons in 14 states. And this is going to have an enormous impact. I'm sure it already has. But I do think that exposing people to books and giving them the chance to better themselves and find actually the love. It's not like eating your spinach, the love of books and the possibilities opened by books. That's a massive thing that you've done. It's huge. I know you're a humble person, but it's incredible. You had this great misfortune when you were 16 years old, and you've it's just a massive contribution you've made. I cannot tell you how impressed I am by what you've done.
I appreciate that. And we have 7, 8 people that work for us out of our team of 22 serve time in prison, anywhere from 18 months to 30 years. And for each of us, books played a profound role in us reshaping our lives. And so I love the fact that I feel like it's, remember, I got a bald head, but you remember, I'm not just a client. I'm not just the president. I'm a client.
Oh yeah. The hair
like
club, the hair club for men. Cy Sperling. Cy Sperling would end his commercials.
Wow.
It was a spray, I think, that you could put on your bald spot, and he would say, "I'm not just a satisfied. I'm not just the president. I'm a client," and then he would reveal.
Yeah. This is like, I feel like I carry books around with me everywhere to be like, I just don't talk about this. I got a book in my bag. We tell people that we keep books because books are the talisman that would have kept us safe when we chose to pick up pistols.
Yeah.
Books were the talisman that would have kept us safe instead of the pistols that caused more harm.
Yeah.
Did you know when you were getting out of, did you have a plan when your sentence is coming to an end? Did you have a clear goal then? I am going to get this higher education, or was it something that unfolded gradually after you got out?
Now, I mean, I was just talking to somebody a few minutes ago about ADHD. And one of the real blessings in my life is that I have horrible ADHD, which means I've never had a plan in my life. And the reality is you go to prison at 16, if you're a person that operates on a plan, you might have a hard time. I have literally never had a plan. I've kind of just moved through this world with a hope and a desire to be better than I was when I committed that crime, and a curiosity and an openness. And so, I ended up in law school because I was struggling to get jobs that would support me. And I ended up representing friends of mine, and I got 5 people out of prison that I did time with, because once I went to law school, they were like, "Well, Dwayne, you're a lawyer. Can you help with my case?" I started Freedom Reads because a friend and a supporter who also works for the Mellon Foundation had asked me, what would I do for people in prison if money wasn't an issue? And I said, we put millions of people in prison. I will put 1 million books in prison. And she said, how? And I said, one library at a time. And with that phrase, I started making up Freedom Reads. I started making up the organization that's had a profound change in my life. This is the first job that I've had since 2006, because I've essentially been a student and an independent writer and performer, from 2006 until now. And now I run an organization with a multi-million-dollar budget, 20 people that work under me. I mean, it's been amazing, but I would be lying to you if I pretended like this was a part of a plan.
Yeah.
I think the only plan I've had was trust.
No, that's well said. Yeah. I mean, but that's true of a lot of people. I know it's true in my case. I can't say I had a plan. I just kind of followed my passion, and it was always news to me. Like I didn't know where it was going to lead. I didn't know where I was going to go. I'm sure I took a lot of missteps along the way, but I think that's a good message to get out there, is that it's not people saying, okay, this is exactly what I'm going to do and here are the steps. There's a jazz quality to it where you're just playing what you feel. And if you trust and you're leading with that kind of positive energy and you marry it to a work ethic, things happen. And you're proof of that. It's amazing. Absolutely amazing.
Thank you.
I was at the airport. I was waiting in one of those long lines. And I kept saying, "Hey, let me through. I'm Conan O'Brien." And they said, "Shut up. You'll wait in line." And I went, "Oh, okay." And
That's so sad.
it's a really good story. But I was hungry. I didn't have a snack with me. You got to keep it. And I didn't want to lose my place in line and go try and find something.
I know.
That's when you got to have Nutri-Grain on you.
You got to always have a snack in your bag. And when it's a Nutri-Grain, it's perfect.
It's perfect because it's the right size. It's handy. It's also nutritious.
Yes.
Okay. You can go anywhere. It's made with 10 grams of whole grains, 10 vitamins and minerals. These guys are obsessed with 10s. And no high fructose corn syrup. Nutri-Grain nourishes and it hits the spot with delicious flavors. They got strawberry, apple cinnamon, blueberry flavors. I just had a blueberry back in the snack area.
Yeah.
With a little bit of a glass of milk.
You earned it. Nice job.
Nice job. Find nutritious and always delicious Nutri-Grain bars at your favorite store or online retailer today. And look for new Nutri-Grain crunchy bars in stores near you. Oh, I'll get that crunchy, I will. Big news, Sona.
Yeah.
Did you know T-Mobile recently partnered with the National Park Foundation?
No way.
Yep, they're making it easier to stay connected so you're free to wander.
Well, that's really cool.
And I love a national park. I really do.
I do too.
Now, there's one thing you have to have if you're doing that, good signal. It's a
Yeah.
priority. Do you know what I mean? You got your maps, your music, this podcast.
Yeah.
So take America's Best Network plus their off-grid satellite coverage with you. Look, we're all a little spoiled, but we like to have access to all our stuff. And suddenly you don't have it because of a bad signal. That's when I throw my phone into the Grand Canyon.
Oh, okay.
Literally filled half the Grand Canyon with phones.
That
Then I
seems
got
wasteful.
T-Mobile, never had to chuck them again. You know?
Good.
So wander over to T-Mobile.com and switch. Best based on analysis by Ookla of speed test intelligence data for 2H 2025. Wow, that's some sentence. T-Satellite with capable device in most outdoor areas in U.S. where you see the sky. That's important. You got to see the sky.
Yep.
Service may be limited or unavailable. Included with Experience Beyond or $10 per month. Auto renews. Cancel anytime. That was probably meant to be said by a robot really quickly, but I just did it slowly so you could really understand.
Disclaimer, please do not throw your phone into the Grand Canyon.
So much I'm looking forward to this summer.
Me too.
You know what I'm talking about? First of all, July 4th is going to be the 250th anniversary of the United States of America.
We
That's a
did it.
big deal. And just as important, some pretty big soccer games headed our way.
Sport.
I don't want to get too specific, but let's say some pretty big soccer games
Yeah.
are coming our way.
On a global scale.
On a global scale, that's all we'll say. So much to celebrate this summer, so you got to keep it classic with Miller Lite. Miller Lite has been a true American Pilsner and the original light beer since 1975. Were you even alive then, Sona?
No, I was not.
Yeah, I think that's good because you couldn't handle the beginning of the Miller Lite era.
No.
It's too iconic.
Okay.
Here's my summer, okay?
Yeah.
Hang with my buddies.
Yeah.
Hey, this is a really good iconic soccer game that's happening that unifies all the different nations of the world. What is it? I don't have time to tell you, but let's have some Miller Lite. Clean finish, refreshing, easy to drink. And when it's hot outside, nothing feels better going down than an icy cool Miller Lite. It's an all-American summer, and it starts with all-American beer. Miller Lite. Go to MillerLite.com/Conan to find delivery options near you, or you can pick up some Miller Lite pretty much anywhere they sell beer. Miller time. Celebrate responsibly. Miller Brewing Company, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. 96 calories and 3.2 carbs per 12 ounces. This is a paid ad by BetterHelp. All of us learn about stigmas when we were a kid, things we're probably not supposed to talk about,
Yes.
things we're not supposed to share, maybe be a little ashamed of.
Yep.
Even in 2026, stigma can get in the way of a lot of things, like getting support for your mental health. Unbelievably, that's still an issue for people.
Yes.
Maybe you've encouraged friends to consider therapy while avoiding taking the first step yourself because you're busy, or you're worried what others would think, or you're telling yourself you can handle it alone.
Yeah.
This is a situation where you can't do it alone. You need to talk to someone else. But therapy with BetterHelp, the world's largest online therapy platform, can be a space to slow down and talk through what's been building before it feels unmanageable. Here's how it works. You just take a short questionnaire to identify your needs and preferences, and BetterHelp will handle the initial therapist matching work for you. That's huge. Their industry-leading match rate means BetterHelp typically gets it right the first time. You can feel confident knowing BetterHelp therapists work according to a strict code of conduct. We have never had that here at the show. And unlike us, they are fully qualified. Don't let hesitation hold you back. Find support with BetterHelp. Sign up and get 10% off at betterhelp.com/Conan. That's betterhelp.com/Conan. You talk about the smell of new books. I've been kicked out of bookstores because I just go and smell them.
Oh.
Yeah. And, yeah.
Like you open them and smell them?
I
or
open
you're
them
just
and I-
standing by the bookshelf sniffing the
I
books?
open them and I smell them.
Okay.
And I guess it's a perversion.
Are people holding
Only if
them?
you don't buy the books, though. As long if you buy a couple of the books, the people at the bookstore they be delighted. You just gotta buy.
No,
you just gotta buy 2 or 3.
You know, I'm going to tell you something, Reginald. I'm a sniff and runner. I get a good deep sniff, and then I run, and I'm wearing a raincoat when I do it.
The sniff and sprint.
Yeah, sniff and sprint. And there's my pictures up in a lot of bookstores around the country.
They'd be like, who was in the section with the books with a Reader's Digest?
Yeah.
from the early 20th century. Oh, that's Conan's favorite section.
Oh, Conan's. Have you seen this man? Hey, it's 100 degrees out and it's a sunny day. Why are you wearing a raincoat? That's my business. Look, Reginald, I'm a creep, and you knew that when you contacted us. So this is all on you. But I also think that, a lot of us make bad mistakes when we're around 16 years old. I wouldn't have had access to any, I wouldn't have known where to get a gun so there's a, there's a quality to some of it, which is like, mistakes. Usually people make bad mistakes when they're in those teenage years. That's when they do it. And then, I'm very aware that I was incredibly fortunate to be in a situation where my bad impulses couldn't get much worse because I'm living in a very stable kind of environment. Do you know what I mean? And I wouldn't have known where to get a gun, frankly. And I used to ask people, how do I get a gun?
Oh.
I did.
Just why?
My sons,
Yeah.
because it makes you cool. I mean, somebody asked me once, and I
Reginald,
said yes. I had no
Reginald,
idea.
I'm going to disagree with you. Me with a gun does not look cool.
I don't think it would do
Yeah,
that
I mean, no.
to
Yeah.
you. I
No.
really don't.
I look like a frightened old woman who found a gun, just wondering where to return it.
The crazy thing about it, though, is I deeply believe that. So, even as a kid, I really had no access to guns.
Yeah.
I could pretend that I did, but I didn't. And then this one day I did. But I think about my son's life, and they have never seen a fight before.
Mm-hmm.
And so some of it, I think about how radically different the life that I've been able to provide for my sons have been, because they haven't seen the kind of violence that my childhood was steeped in. Even if I didn't grow up in the worst neighborhood, I didn't grow up in the worst neighborhood, but I got beat up at least 15 times. How many fingers do we have? Fingers and toes. I spent my childhood on the ropes. They used to call me Glass Joe. That's a joke. See, Conan got me trying to be a comedian now, because this is the first time that I've been around somebody truly funny.
But wait, so where did you grow up? Where did you grow up?
Right outside of DC in PG County, Maryland.
Yeah. Okay. So,
which had the benefit of the nation's capital, and you could see everything. And my mom had a great government job, but it also had the poverty and the sense of being a black belt and being like right outside of the center of everything, but literally right outside of the center of it. I was the first person in my family to go to college and the first person to graduate from prison.
Yeah.
And that's not supposed to be a potential reality of somebody growing up in the 80s and the 90s. not supposed to be the landscape of what it means to, you know, be an American citizen. But it literally was my perspective.
Yeah. What do you credit? Because there have been many people, obviously, that have been in your situation and not had this spectacular turnaround. Who do you credit, or what do you credit this ability to turn this massive negative into a positive and to, as you sort of say, pursue love and understanding and acceptance? Where did that come from?
I'm gonna go ahead and credit my mom, and I'm gonna credit my mom for two reasons. First, you know, on the front end, she forgave me, and she didn't make me beat myself up. She just accepted that I was better than that, and she had to accept it on faith. You know, she had to really believe that I was better than the crime that I committed, and convey that to me in such a way that I could believe that I was better. And so I credit my mom, and then she put money behind her belief. I took a paralegal course in prison. She paid for it. You know, I was buying those books in prison. She sent me the money for it. So I'll credit that. And I will also credit, you know, like every time somebody was honest with me. Yeah. The judge was honest with me. He told me, I'm under no illusion that sending you to prison will help, but you can get something out of it. And it was a challenge as well as just being a statement that, like, you 16 and everybody else is going to tell you how little power you have, how small you are, how violent prison is. I'm going to tell you, you can get something out of it if you want. And I think that I've always had this attitude once I went to prison and felt like I have sank to rock bottom, that I could be who I say I am. And I have just sort of committed myself and dedicated myself in a singular way to doing that. And then I also say the last thing is that because I spent so much time in prison, I was able to become an autodidact. I was able to pursue and chase my interests. And I was able to learn a lot about things that I thought were completely unrelated until they became related. Yeah. Like, who would have known me maneuvering around the Department of Corrections and around COs and around wardens would be the skill set that I needed 20 years later when I'm starting an organization that demands that I not look at COs and wardens as my enemies. Yeah. You know, I had to choose in prison that they weren't my enemy. And that's why it's easy for me to do it now. I had to choose in prison that I had a story that needed to be bigger than me being a felon, so that the COs had to have a story that was bigger than them being a CO. And so it was all of these small things that actually built a set of skills that you know, people trusted me to deploy in a way that matters. But honestly, I'm just here for the ride. And I could say that I wouldn't have guessed any of this when I was 16. I wouldn't even have guessed that I would survive prison. Yeah. But I don't think I would trade anything for the journey.
Well, Reginald, you're an incredibly inspiring person, a really impressive person. Honored to get to talk to you, seriously. And you're doing something that's huge. It really is huge. Very few people can say they've had this kind of impact that you're going to have on all these lives. And so I'm, you know, could not be happier to talk to you. And if you have a question for me, sometimes people call and they have a question. You may not have a question for me, you know?
I do. I got one. And I'll tell you, I wrote you myself like 2:00 in the morning, you know, when I was like, man, I would love to be on this show. And I mean, it is one of those things, though. It was like, yo, somebody will read this. Mm-hmm. And out of everything that I've done, I really jump out the window like that. But 2:00 in the morning, I sent that email out. And the question I have now is, we all say books change our lives, but we live different reading lives. I wonder what book changed your life, or what book you really remember from your 20s.
Wow. I remember there's this book, I think I've mentioned it before, by a writer named Shara, called The Killer Angels. And it's about the Civil War Battle of Gettysburg. And it's written, it's fiction. I mean, it's written like fiction, historical fiction, but it's very beautifully written. And I read this book and I just became obsessed with it. And I had already been a fan of history, but I read this book and I've gone back and read it many times since. And it's just kind of a beautiful, very accurate account of not only what happened, but the kinds of personalities that were involved, and it just brought what could have been a really dry historical account to life. And I realized you can do that with anything. Do you know what I mean? Any story can be told in a very dry, boring way, or if you've got a really talented writer and storyteller, they can tell it in an amazing way. And that book was really powerful for me, really powerful.
See, look, I'm gonna tell you, you won't even believe this. This is such a great question. That's such a great answer. My son's birthday is the date of the Gettysburg Address.
Oh, wow.
That is my oldest son's birthday, November 19th.
Well,
you know what I'm saying?
Get the Killer Angels.
Now this is perfect.
Get the Killer Angels. You're going to read it. It's just a great book. And if it was just fiction and wasn't about how the battle really unfolded, it's just filled with amazing characters. It's so well done. I think Shara died shortly after he wrote it. He died young, but it's just fantastic. It's
going in the library.
Yeah.
I'm putting it in the Freedom Library. For now on, it's going to be in the Freedom Library. This is a great new edition.
Hey, let me ask you a question. How do people donate? Is there a way that people can donate to this cause?
Yeah, they should go to the website. Freedom Reads, FreedomReads.
Yep. Okay.
.org. And they can donate right at the website.
I think that, I know I'm going to want to make a donation, and I'm going to make David make a donation.
Yeah. Of course. With your credit card.
With my credit card. But no, I love what you're doing. I love your message. I love your energy, your positivity, your sweetness. You're one of those people. I get despairing sometimes about all the stuff that's happening in the world, and then I meet someone like you, and I think we're going to be all right. So, but then I go back to drinking. And book sniffing.
God.
I'm leaving this interview right now, and I'm gonna.
You're ending it on book sniffing?
I'm gonna end it so I can get to. There's a bookstore just down the street. I'm gonna put on my bathrobe and go rushing in there.
Your book sniffing.
My book sniffing robe. Yeah. Hey, Reginald.
I'm gonna ask you, what book have you smelled lately?
Oh my Well, I don't want to go into that. Let's just say it was about Churchill. That's all you need to know. Hey, Reginald, be well. Keep doing what you're doing. I hope we get to meet in person someday, because I'd be honored to shake your hand, really.
I will be honored to meet you in person. Thank you so much. And everybody else, man. The whole team has been lovely from the first interview to now. It's been amazing.
Well, I got to let them all go today, but getting some AI in here to replace them. All right, take care, Reginald.
Bye.
Bye.
Take care, guys.
Conan O'Brien Needs a Fan, with Conan O'Brien, Sonam Movsesian, and Matt Gorley. Produced by me, Matt Gorley. Executive produced by Adam Sachs, Jeff Ross, and Nick Liao. Incidental music by Jimmy Vivino. Take it away, Jimmy. Supervising producer, Aaron Blaird. Associate talent producer, Jennifer Samples. Associate producers, Sean Doherty and Lisa Byrne. Engineering by Eduardo Perez. Get 3 free months of SiriusXM when you sign up at SiriusXM.com/Conan. Please rate, review, and subscribe to Conan O'Brien Needs a Fan wherever fine podcasts are downloaded.
Running a business is hard enough, so why make it harder with a dozen different apps that don't talk to each other? Introducing Odoo, the only business software you'll ever need. It's an all-in-one, fully integrated platform that makes your work easier. From CRM, accounting, inventory, e-commerce, and more. And the best part, Odoo replaces multiple expensive platforms for a fraction of the cost. That's why over thousands of businesses have made the switch. So why not you? Try Odoo for free at odoo.com. That's ODOO.com.
Courage. I learned it from my adoptive mom. Hold my hand.
You hold my hand. Learn about adopting a teen from foster care at adoptuskids.org. You can't imagine the reward. Brought to you by Adopt US Kids, the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, and the Ad Council.